Welcome to Mystery Date, where we dive into the weird, the wild, and the downright puzzling. While our podcast is primarily for entertainment with plenty of laughs along the way, we occasionally discuss serious and sensitive topics. Some content may not be suitable for all listeners, so discretion is advised. I'm Christian.
And I'm Kate. Okay, we can start over.
No.
I just wanted to fuck with you.
No, that was perfect. Let's do it. Let's roll it.
Welcome to Mystery Date Movie Night.
This time, we're leaving the mysteries to the filmmakers, and we're turning our date night into a simple movie night.
We figured between seasons, it's a good time for us to sit back and relax a little and change things up until we get back into the real mysteries in season 2.
Tonight, we are talking about the finale of the Conjuring series, The Conjuring: The Last Rites.
We'll be going over the movie's plot a little bit, giving some of our own personal commentary and opinions, and then giving an overall rating on the film.
So sit back, relax.
Grab your favorite movie snacks, and let's start the show.
Still on that peach Bellini.
Yeah, because it's good.
We're not doing back-to-back recordings or anything.
No, I
didn't
definitely-
just throw on a hoodie.
I have not had multiple of these peach bellinis in a row, if that's what you were thinking this behavior was from.
Of course not.
Nope.
Not just one. One.
I've
What's-
had this first sip you just saw me take. That's
What's
it.
the percentage of this?
It's not high, but I don't drink a lot. So when I drink one peach bellini, that's enough. If I drink 2 peach bellinis, then I'm over here going, hey, everybody.
Give me one margarita.
Dude, why does your brother always show me those songs?
Getting into it, we actually this is a new movie.
I mean,
for our
yeah,
movie nights. This is
it just
probably the
came
newest
out
movie.
this year.
Yeah, like in August, I think.
So yeah, pretty recently.
Yeah.
And we didn't see it in theaters. We waited till it came to streaming. So we've seen it even more recently.
Yeah. The first time we watched it was like 2 weeks ago, and then we watched it again right before this just to get our memories refreshed.
Yeah, we'd seen all the other ones twice before recording.
Yeah.
So it only felt fair that we gave this one 2 watches as
Yeah.
well.
But so we both just recently saw this one, as I'm sure many of you did. So I'll get right into it then with the cast and crew breakdown. The Conjuring: Last Rites was directed by Michael Chavez, continuing the mainline franchise under returning producers James Wan and Peter Safran. The film stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, once more as paranormal investigators Lorraine and Ed Warren. Supporting roles include Mia Tomlinson as Judy Warren and Ben Hardy as Tony Spera, plus other cast members such as Steve Coulter, Father Gordon, and Rebecca Calder, Janet Smurl. The screenplay is credited to Ian Goldberg, Richard Nang, and David Leslie. I'm not saying that guy's whole name again. If you remember from the first one, his name's way too long. Sorry, David. I made that conscious decision just to do that. Cinematography is handled by Eli Bourne, signaling a fresh visual approach for the final chapter. So again, we switched cinematographers this time around, which I could tell.
Oh yeah, again, it was noticeable. And again, I'm not sure if that's for the good or for the bad, but definitely noticeable.
Yeah, definitely noticeable.
Definitely different.
And the music score for this film was composed by Benjamin Wallfish, taking over from earlier entries in the franchise. So this was one of the first times, too, that the music score was completely fresh. So everything on this time is pretty much all brand new cast and crew. You would just have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They're like the OGs.
Yep. They're along for every rerun, baby. They're like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. We are back.
And just to note here, like I said before, this is a really new movie. It was released on September 5th, 2025. And Last Rites serves as the concluding chapter for Ed and Lorraine Warren's story in the mainline series. So from there, we'll discuss the plot a little bit before we go into our own little notes and personal feelings of the movie. So spoilers. We didn't say that on the other 3 movies. You've had plenty of time to go watch those. But if you have not seen this movie yet,
there are spoilers ahead starting right now.
Yeah, we're going to break down the entire plot. So stop watching.
Yeah.
But
get out of here, go watch it, and then come back.
Yes, exactly. Pause right here, but come back. We still want you.
Yeah. Oh, yes, come back. We'll be here. Just watch Last Rites first.
Exactly. So the prologue of this film opens decades earlier as a young and Lorraine Warren, which is already off to... I thought this was so stupid, replacing the actors.
Right away. right away, like within 30 seconds of the movie's opening, it already feels, my immediate reaction was like, okay, so this was a slightly unplanned kind of cash grab of a sequel. And I can tell because they're immediately rewriting and or introducing a new history for Ed and Lorraine.
Yep.
Shit that we definitely would have heard them mention before.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, they didn't because they hadn't thought to write it in yet.
And what pisses me off, like I said, I don't know. They recast the actors, right? But in the first movie, Judy's like 8. So they recast these actors. You're telling me that in 8 years, those 2 younger versions
didn't grow up enough to still play her?
Well, no, I'm talking about the Ed and Lorraine.
Oh, yeah.
They recast them, but it's only been 8 years from when Judy's first born to Conjuring 1. So you're telling me that in those 8 years, they changed that much?
Yeah, there was absolutely, I really was so confused at the young versions of them because it's not technically a recast because it is still Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as the main Ed and Lorraine throughout the movie. But this whole opening scene, it's like a flashback to the past, and it's different actors, and they don't really look like the actors we know as Ed and Lorraine.
No. The kid playing Ed looks good.
Oh, yeah, he looks closer. He's got a sharp, like, jawline and nose structure like Patrick Wilson, and of course, they throw the iconic sideburns on him, so then that... God. Right away, that gives him more resemblance.
I should have gotten like fake sideburns for this last one.
We could go as Ed and Lorraine for Halloween next year.
That's not a bad idea.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
We could pull it off.
Oh, yeah.
But so he already just immediately has more resemblance because of the sideburns. But I didn't think the girl looked like Vera Farmiga much at all, especially considering we've seen the Nun movies as well with Vera Farmiga's sister in the lead roles. So those two look like freaking twins. And then they cast a younger Lorraine that's someone who doesn't look like either of them.
Yep.
It's like, why even recast? It's not that much time. This movie's so new, you know they've got makeup and CGI and de-aging tech. Like, just... You could have absolutely pulled it off without different actors.
Oh, 100%.
And even if you couldn't age them down at all, even if it was like, oh, shoot, people aren't going to believe that this is the past, you're expecting us to believe the rest of the movie. And but you don't think, you think this is where we're going to draw the line.
Yeah, and you expect us to believe that they aged 13, 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And again, only 8.
Yeah, they aged 20 to 50 years in a blink of an eye.
It's like How I Met Your Mother. I don't know what it's from, but he's not gonna grow into Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Like these people aren't gonna grow into Patrick, but they're already adults.
I have looked like I look now since I was about 13.
And yeah, it's.
People don't change that much until they get very elderly and start getting more wrinkles or
if you have medical
or like if
life.
Something affects you to make you change, then obviously that's a circumstance. But like just natural aging, people's looks don't change that drastically that quickly.
No.
It takes decades to like have noticeable change unless it's in childhood. When you're rapidly growing. As soon as you've grown, like, that's about it.
Yeah, I immediately, so we haven't even gotten too much into the plot and we're already going off. So you can kind of see where this is going to go. But yeah, so the film opens decades earlier with a young Ed and Lorraine, played by different actors for whatever reason, as they investigate an antique shop where a strange mirror resides. Lorraine, while heavily pregnant, ends up touching this mirror and the glass cracks. She collapses and sees a terrifying vision of a demonic entity reaching towards her unborn child.
And she also has like random glimpses of her future and the first 2 Conjuring films in that moment. Yes. And it's like, okay.
Well, you can there's a fun fact that I'll add in here that'll kind of make it all make sense. But you can tell they were just trying to shoehorn in everything of the other movies to be, because you said like this was a
real quick
finale.
Look, see, it's all connected.
Yeah. So they were just like, oh, all these people are coming back and all this stuff's happening, and no, it doesn't really pay off.
We are 60 seconds in at this point.
So this encounter triggers Lorraine to go into an early labor where Lorraine ends up giving birth. And the baby appears to be stillborn for a solid minute. As honestly, it's a pretty intense scene. If you have any like trigger warning, like trigger issues with stuff dealing with infant loss or anything like that, you would not want to watch that scene.
No,
sure
honestly, like that, this movie should come with some kind of trigger warning for that opening, because that's the opening too.
Yes,
like it's right away. So it really is. It's kind of rough.
It's so that right there, it's a very powerful scene, I will say. Eventually, the baby does come back to life, though. Like I said, after about a minute of it just kind of lying there and Lorraine praying to God to bring the child back, and they end up naming the child Judy. This is the Judy we know from the other movies. This isn't a different character.
Their daughter, Judy, who has appeared in the first couple of Conjuring movies, or 3 Conjuring movies, I guess.
This traumatic event apparently becomes foundational, even though we've never heard of it.
Yeah. At this point, I wrote down Lorraine in The Conjuring 2. This is the scariest, most haunting, rattling thing I've ever seen or experienced.
Are you kidding
yet
me?
you're telling me there was a demon in the delivery room with you and your stillborn?
And killed your kid, essentially, and then you prayed.
Yeah, but this, like, mild haunting of some family in London is the scariest thing you've ever seen? Did you forget about the most traumatic day of your life that apparently was very formative?
Which is something
right away, we're already trashing the writing so bad, because it's just like, come on, none of it, you're just throwing shit at the wall. Like,
well, I was about to say, it's something that I was about to say I'll touch on later, but I'll just touch on it now. But this series has a huge hole in it after they got rid of Valak, or dealt with Valak, because that's what, I mean, I know he's not ultimately planned in Conjuring 1, but they did a better job of tying in Conjuring 1 to Conjuring 2 and making you believe that this Valak creature has been around and has been following them. But after that, there's just like this emptiness of there's no real like big bad. And I know that sounds weird in like a horror film that, oh, there's no big bad, but especially like a paranormal horror film. But I think there needs to be, like, that's the whole Conjuring thing, is like,
that's what they've set. That's what they set up for themselves in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
it's like there's always someone
universe
above, and whoever's above them, that's the real villain. And they really lose that. And they try to do it in The Devil Made Me Do It, like we talked about.
Yeah, but
it's
that
done
one
poorly.
was too all over the place. It's like, okay, this isn't structured.
So this one, again, I think suffers from that, where they did the big climax with Valak in Conjuring 2, and honestly, they should have stopped there.
It was really good.
Because everything from then on just feels like whatever the hell The Walking Dead is doing now. It's like the show finishes and then they come out with all of these.
That was a good comparison.
Yeah,
because it's like, no, you should have just stopped when things were perfect and you had wrapped them up nicely. And then now, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, like, what is all of this? None of this lives up to what was, so why? So from there, fast forward to the 1980s, or just the I did like this. I love an 80s vibe, so it was cool to see this movie finally getting out of like the dingy old 60s and 70s look that the first 2 movies had, and we're kind of in a more vibrant environment, which I do appreciate that. Ed and Lorraine have essentially retired from active demon hunting, and they lecture and enjoy domestic life and try to keep Judy's inherited sensitivities in check. Which, if you've just watched the Conjuring mainline series, it's slightly hinted at, but now all of a fucking sudden Judy has all these powers in the 4th film.
And again, they throw in a flashback really quick with little girl Judy, where it's like, oh no, I'm seeing the bad things, mommy, help me. And it's like, oh, see, she started getting her clairvoyancy early like Lorraine, and it's just becoming more powerful as she's grown up. And it's like, okay, except that wasn't there before.
Yeah, we never hear about this till then. I will say, if you watch the Annabelle series, they talk about Judy a lot more in that one. But even so, if Judy had these powers in this movie, she has that little Lucy Locket, whatever rhyme she keeps saying to like calm her down.
In the previous movies, anytime there is a slight moment with Judy where it's like, oh, does she see it? Or is this like a vision Lorraine is having right now? She doesn't have that poem then.
Yeah, she doesn't pull that out of her pocket.
She doesn't have her little nursery rhyme then.
So
but apparently it's been there all along. Lorraine taught it to her as a little girl. I'm like, you guys are just rewriting the history that you have already shown us. Did you forget that you already showed it to us?
Mm-hmm.
And that now your new history is not matching up? Like, come on.
I would have been okay, like, as stupid as it sounds, maybe I'm wrong. I accept that. But I would have been okay if they just brought Valak back. If they just did the classic for the finale. At least it was something we're familiar with. They were like, oh, Valak is somehow returned. If you brought the cultists, maybe the cultists from Devil Made Me Do It ended up bringing Valak back after finding out that Ed and Lorraine stopped this one girl because...
Yeah, who knows?
Like, whatever, however you want to tie it.
I do think they could have pulled that off better than some of the other bullshit.
Than just this random storyline. Like,
feels forced.
Everything in Endgame was never... like planned. Like if you just watched Endgame and none of those seeds were ever planted in any of those previous movies of Avengers. And it's just like, where did all this come from?
Yeah.
Like who the hell's Thanos? We've never seen this guy. What are the Infinity Stones? Like if all of that stuff.
If it was all just brand new and they just showed it to you in flashbacks that you never saw before, it's like, but they would have been talking about
it's
this.
Like, no, this doesn't hit. This does not hit.
This would have been relevant at those other times. It wouldn't just be a flashback of some long forgotten memory. Like, what? This would have been vital, informative. Like, why wouldn't we have heard about it then?
So Judy, now grown and played by another different actor. I feel like every movie she's different.
Yeah, they got away with it when she was young because it was like, oh, but look, she's a little kid. And it's like, oh, well, now she's like kind of a preteen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's like, well, she's an adult now, so ha ha ha. Like, always a different actress.
But Judy has a boyfriend. That's Tony Spera, played by Ben Hardy, like we mentioned earlier.
Is he related to Tom Hardy?
I don't know.
That could be why he looks familiar to me, though. I remember being like, that guy looks like somebody I've seen. What have I seen him in? But then I hadn't seen any of his stuff.
They're not related.
They're not?
No.
All right.
That's why we need a producer.
There goes that little...
There goes that little connection.
That little fan theory or headcanon. I don't know.
This movie uses the contrast between Tony Spera and Judy as like a normal young adult life versus the shadow of this haunting legacy that Ed and Lorraine are kind of portraying. You can clearly tell that Lorraine has a lot of like reserves. Not in that they've done the ghost hunting for so long, but the effect that it would have had on Judy, you can tell that she's been kind of dwelling on that throughout this movie. Meanwhile, a troubled family located in Pennsylvania becomes the target of a terrifying haunting related to the same mirror from 1964 that tormented Ed and Lorraine. Yeah,
it was a gift to the granddaughter for her confirmation present, like at church, she got confirmed.
Yeah, the Smurl granddaughter.
Then the Smurl grandparents like went to the flea market and found this creepy ass broken mirror with little demon baby fallen angels on top. And it's like, this is the creepiest fucking gift that a grandparent could give, especially for a confirmation. I'm like, this looks like a demon mirror. But at least it's not a music box.
There is a music box in this movie.
There is, but at least
it wasn't
the haunted item.
Nothing's really tied to that.
It wasn't the haunted item this time.
They did have to throw in a movie box or a music box.
A movie box.
A movie box. That would be interesting.
Yeah, they used to have those.
Is that just a projector?
No, I don't know what they were called, but like they were the things you would go look into,
like
and
the
then
Man.
Like. Yeah,
like
something
what that
like
was.
that.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So after getting the mirror, some horrific incidents begin occurring, and the demon uses the mirror's power to attack the family, and this curse from the mirror surfaces with a lot of violent paranormal shit going on to the Smurls. Like that first initial scene when the light fucking smashes down on, I can't remember the names of the Smurl girls.
Oh, yeah. One of them's Dawn, one of them's Heather.
The youngest one, the one who went through communion. After she's like blowing out her candles, the fucking light like
the
smashes
whole,
down
like
on
the
her
overhead
head.
long, like table length kitchen light.
Which is like an industrial commercial grade light. I don't know.
It is kind of weird, but actually,
Actually.
Shut up. I've had a couple of drinks, so I'm going to get a little British now. No, actually, we had a light like that in our basement growing up.
In the basement, that makes more sense to me, but like in the dining room over a table,
It was like in the kitchen.
I don't know. I'm not talking shit. It just seemed like something I'd see in a factory.
It was the 80s.
Yeah, well, clearly it was too heavy because it came crashing down.
The whole thing like brought half the ceiling down with it.
I will say this
destroyed the table and almost killed the girl. It smacked her in the head.
This haunting was like a lot more brutal.
It was a lot more physical violence towards the people. Like they weren't just experiencing jump scares or weird possession, like speaking, like, hey, it's my house. Like it wasn't just that stuff. It was literally like this, whatever demons were in this house were just throwing the family members down the stairs.
Yeah.
Throwing furniture at their face.
Making the one girl vomit up shattered glass.
Yeah, like they were trying to harm these people, not just scare and wound them.
Yeah,
like,
it was intense.
It was like, oh, we are gonna kill you violently, painfully. Like, oh my God, this poor family.
Moving on from there, we kind of follow Dr. Gordon, or not Dr. Gordon.
Dr. Gordon.
I don't know. He might be a doctor.
Yeah, he's Father Gordon.
Yeah, we follow Father Gordon as we see him try to convince Ed and Lorraine throughout the beginning of this movie. After we find out what's happening to the Smurls, he's slowly trying to convince them to like go and investigate this case, but Lorraine repeatedly turns him down and is just saying no.
She's like, we don't really do that anymore. Ed's heart, and like, you know, I've got my kid. The last lecture we gave, the kids called us the Ghostbusters. I'm over it. Like,
so Father Gordon takes it upon himself to go investigate the house. And when he does, he tells the mother of the Smurls that while he's not with the church, he can do what he can while he's there. And he eventually goes around doing a small little like exorcist thing. Blessing the house.
Yeah, just blessing the house. Like he's just kind of spraying holy water in various places and giving like a little in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, bless you. And then he just kind of does that around the whole house.
And eventually he gets down to the basement where after he's dousing the holy water, you hear it like start to sizzle. And he turns around and you just see the entire basement is like
steaming.
Engulfed. Yeah, in this steam.
All the holy water is burning.
And he just yeets out of there right after that.
Oh yeah, he's like running. He grabs his jacket. He's like, I gotta go, but I'll be back. I'm gonna convince the church and we're gonna help you. But for now, I'm out.
Yep. And in a shocking twist for the Conjuring series, we follow Father Gordon as he goes to a local, what seems like, I don't know the church terms, but a large church.
I don't know if it's a church or if it's like a school of ministry
I don't
or
know
something
what it is.
like that, but it's a very large complex of buildings almost. Yeah, it's pretty big. I'm assuming it's almost like a school.
I think
a church or something because it's so big.
I think it's like an office of churches. Like that's like the central state, like where a lot of like the churches and stuff will commune to. I don't know.
Oh
what the name of that
or
would
maybe
be.
Something like.
But while there,
I'm not Catholic, so I don't know.
But while there, he eventually, like I said, in kind of a twist for the Conjuring series, actually gets possessed by whatever demon was haunting the Smurls and kills himself, which we usually don't see a lot of death in these series. So that was pretty interesting. And I thought a pretty big shock to the normal pattern of how these movies go.
Yeah, that was kind of a shocking plot twist for me because I just was like, wait, Father Gordon gets killed? Like, and the fact that he ends up killing himself.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, like, okay, so maybe this could be like a Valak level demon. He was getting the nuns to kill themselves. And like, you know, holy people like that, they don't believe in suicide.
Exactly.
So if they commit it, it's real. It's a big deal. So it did kind of bring back that like, oh, okay, this could be good. This could be something big. This could be good. This is obviously bad, but I meant like as a movie, like this could mean that a good climax is coming.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good that Father Gordon killed himself. I don't promote the suicide of pastors.
From there, we go to Father Gordon's funeral, where we watch as Judy ends up having a sort of vision after touching the casket, where she sees that Father Gordon visited the Smurl residence and sees the family kind of in danger and a little bit of what might have happened. And from there, whether by guilt or innate sensitivity, she begins to involve herself deeply, trying to essentially she just ghosts everybody and heads to the Smurl house without letting anybody know. And,
I think she tells Tony.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do think she tells Tony, because he ends up bringing Ed and Lorraine and telling them, hey, I don't know where your daughter, or do they go to him?
No, Lorraine is sitting there and she has a little vision or something in the kitchen where she's like, she knows that Judy is in trouble somehow. And she's like, Ed, I don't know what it is, but it's Judy. Something's wrong. And then there's a knock at the door. They run and open the door, and Tony's standing there looking scared. And before he can say anything, Lorraine just goes, where is she?
Okay, yeah.
And in the next scene, they're pulling up to the Smurls. So that's why I'm like, she had to have at least told Tony where she was going.
Once the Warrens arrive at the Smurls, tracking down their daughter, they do find Judy, who is at the house kind of tending to a lot of the Smurl family, even though I don't really know what she's going to do there. Like she hasn't, like Lorraine says this whole movie, she hasn't trained. She's not ready for this type of thing, and she just goes and tries to do it on her own.
Yeah. At one point while they're there, Judy even says to Lorraine, she's like, I've never gotten to see you and Dad at work. And yet you thought you could handle this alone, girl? Yeah. Like, you lucky we showed up.
So they show up, and they're initially just going to take Judy and head out. But the Smurl family kind of convinces them, along with Judy, that they should stay and investigate whatever is terrorizing them. Through their investigations, they eventually discover the mirror in the attic that once tormented Lorraine, the same cursed object that triggered Judy's birth trauma. And it becomes clear that the demon's plan is deeply personal to the Warrens. Attempting a normal exorcism or removal fails, proving this is no ordinary haunting, and the object is too powerful, too rooted in the Warrens' own history. From there, we go into a little bit of the climax of the film. The demon ultimately ends up succeeding in its mission to possess Judy, and under its influences, she attacks the Smurl family in a horrifying moment where she tries to eventually hang herself after failing to really do much damage.
Yeah, except she freaking attacks the dog. And
she does attack the dog.
Ooh.
And I guess she gives Ed like a pseudo heart attack, but he's fine. Like,
he ends up being fine. But no, when she attacked the dog, I screamed. I jumped forward in my seat and went, ow!
I did hear that.
And I went, no! And then I immediately grabbed my pen and started writing angrily in all caps. Why? Why do these movies always hurt the dogs?
Hey, the dog lived, though.
He was okay.
Yeah, he lives.
He was okay. He lived. But they threw him against the wall and he yelped. And the baby girls are like, no, Simon. And I'm like, why do these movies do this? I hate the Conjurings. Stop hurting dogs. I don't care how many families you possess and kill and how many children or grandparents you push down the stairs. Do whatever you want to the people. You leave the precious puppies out of this.
Yeah. You're very passionate about that, and I do agree.
They are so innocent. They're too good for this world, and you're just hurting them for no reason.
So after getting Judy to try to hang herself, her fiance Tony and her parents eventually do rush in, saving her just in the nick of time, because it would be a bummer if she just died.
Yeah, what an ending. Lorraine just screaming out in grief. That's that. Credits roll.
From there, the haunted mirror becomes central, and Ed and Lorraine, Judy and Tony also realize that the only way to destroy the evil is for the whole family, parents and daughter, to face it together. This part gets a little confusing. Again, this was some of the like woo-woo stuff that I'm like, you're losing all rules that you've developed for this series, I feel like. Just to have this family bond with, like, why does this demon give a fuck
about this specific family?
Yeah, and like, I don't understand the whole, Judy, look, stop repressing these feelings.
She's like, I know I told you could block it out and run away from it, but you need to face it. And Judy's like, okay, and like looks at the mirror and is just like, go away. And then that's enough.
To me, like, I'm just like, these seem like personal demons other than a demon. Are we sure there was an actual demon here?
Like, is this whole movie actually a metaphor for like some sort of generational trauma
for
or
real?
something?
And I'm like, this is not the time to do that.
Is this an allegory for mental demons? Like, what's happening here? How can you just get rid of the demon by being like, you know what? I'm not scared of you. Bye.
It was very
like,
lame.
what is it? It?
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's
can
the-
conquer it by simply not being afraid. Like, I don't think that's how Catholic demons work.
No, they say they feed on fear. They only live off fear. No,
Yeah,
that thing's gonna
like-
get you no matter what. From there, after the traumatic events, the Smurl family apparently continues living peacefully, and the haunting is over. The curse is lifted. Again, we
as
don't
far
really.
as we know.
Yeah, this movie just leaves them.
Yeah.
They're on the porch and they're like,
Oh,
"Bye."
yeah. There's no real goodbye or closure scene with the Smurls. The Perrins, the Hodgsons, Arnie, and the Glatzels, they all got one. But the Smurls, it's like the Warrens get their little, oh, we did it inside, and then they're just driving away. And like the Smurls are like, bye. And it's like, wait, so is everything okay? Like, are they okay? Did you guys even like talk to them about what happened in there?
Yeah,
like we're just very much left to assume a lot. And it's like this, for a series that's supposed to be about these family and house hauntings, the Smurls and their haunting was barely in this movie.
Yep.
It was so focused on the Warrens and on Judy and on this weird backstory they decided to add just now, even though they have 3 previous movies worth of material to work with. It was like, what about the Smurl haunting? Like, that's what I kept thinking this whole film. And then at the end, the same thing. I'm like, wait, but what about the Smurls? Are they okay? Like, what happened?
We hope.
We're just left to assume that everything was fine and went back to normal.
Something we didn't kind of cover in the breakdown because we just cover important story beats, but the actual haunting to the Smurls, like their house was technically haunted. It's just the demon was using whatever ghosts were there to haunt them more excessively, but those ghosts did seem pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it seemed like Lorraine found out all this information and it was like, oh yeah, the demon from the mirror pulled spirits of people who lived on this land. But the spirits that were pulled just happened to be murderers.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and they all lived on this land.
And did they go away?
And they all murdered their families on this land, but then they weren't haunting anybody until the demon called them. Like, where were their spirits in the meantime? Like, what? Why does everybody who live here apparently turn into an axe murderer? Like, it was very, again, all over the place, just like Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, I don't know. The final scenes of this movie serve as essentially a farewell to Ed and Lorraine. The film ends on a hopeful, sentimental note at Judy's wedding and a pretty big family celebration with soft lighting and a sense of peace. A definite contrast to the series' usual dread-heavy endings, where even though we get the moment of Ed and Lorraine, but then it usually ends on like a very intense scene on whatever magic object or item that they've brought into the show
in the
that
Annabelle
something's
room.
still there. Yeah. And that's usually to give that dread to the audience, like, no, something's still there.
Yeah, it's like, but remember, just because they helped that family and saved the day, they still have that haunted object, and now it's in their house.
Yep, and this one didn't have that. Yeah, they bring in the mirror, and it's all pretty happy-go-lucky the entire way through till the end, where in the credits, it's a montage to all of the real-life cases that Ed and Lorraine kind of investigated, at least a lot of the highly documented ones, which was nice. If you're an Ed and Lorraine fan, that's a very sentimental way for that to go. But that's pretty much the movie there, so from that point, I'll just give some fun facts before we give our initial just notes and thoughts of the film. So my first one here is that Last Rites is officially the highest grossing film in the entire Conjuring franchise, earning around $496 million worldwide.
The first 2 Conjurings were so iconic and gained so much traction that it almost was like, it doesn't really matter what they put out from here on out.
People are
if
interested.
it's got the Conjuring name or universe attached to it, people are at least going to want to see if it's good or not.
Yeah.
So then it still makes money, even if people hate it. Everybody wanted to go see for themselves. So, and it's because it's not just the Conjuring universe anymore. I mean, like, we've got the Nun, we've got La Llorona. Like it's not just the Conjurings, so it is pulling in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even if some of them are low-key haters like us.
And my last fun fact here, we only got 2 for this movie. Early drafts reportedly included an Avengers-style crossover where major demons from the entire Conjuring universe, like Valak, the Crooked Man, and Annabelle, were meant to appear. But the filmmakers eventually scrapped this idea to keep the story more focused on the Warrens family. I think they should have taken the Smurls out.
I was going to say, I think that they made the right choice on not going with a big endgame multiverse Conjuring big battle. But
I don't think they did, honestly.
It was, I don't know. That could have been cool, but like you said, if the Smurls haunting just kind of wasn't even part of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I said with The Devil Made Me Do It, I think they rely so much on these true story anecdotes to sell the film, but if they would just drop that and have completely fictionalized this movie, it would have been way better. If it was, like I said, Valak comes back.
Because then they can take the creative liberties without being like, well, no, that's not going to be believable.
Yeah.
Well, it's fiction, so therefore it is. But yeah, by claiming based on a true story, you're putting these limits on yourself. And that's honestly part of why you have so many problems with the movies.
Yeah, but they could have had Valak come back, do this or cause this Avengers style thing to happen with Annabelle, the Crooked Man. I mean, all of those things, they were building to this in the Warrens' occult room.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, they have that whole room where everything's just sitting there.
Well, and they were building to all of these villains returning. By using that sense of dread at the end of all of these movies, by zooming in on the music boxes or whatever item was haunted, you are kind of telling the audience that these things will come back.
A little bit, yeah. That's like, hey, gone, but not gone.
Yeah, and then you just shit the brick on the last one and not bring any of them back besides Annabelle, who's not even technically, and it's not Annabelle.
It's not, and I will say, at first, I was annoyed at first because I'm like, well, they're always just bringing Annabelle back. It's like, it's always Annabelle. But then Annabelle gets giant and violent, and I'm like, okay, well, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I did write that down.
I
Giant
had to
Annabelle
think about
dope.
it, and I'm like, well, hang on. When you really think about all the times they bring Annabelle into things, it's usually something with Judy. And if I were Judy growing up in that house with the Warrens as my parents and the freaking occult room of cursed shit downstairs, I'd probably be pretty afraid of Annabelle too, and she'd probably haunt my nightmares. So I was like, okay, I can forgive them always using Annabelle as a crutch because at least they almost always pair it with Judy. And it's like, that tracks because that's like that was the number one first scary thing in her house as a kid. So I can forgive that. But yeah, it's like, why, if you're gonna bring Annabelle back, at least the Crooked Man was scary as fuck. Bring him back. Like, you're right. Like, bring them all back. But the Smurls story being part of it, it makes it all too much.
They just forced it to tie into this true life story, but it didn't need to. By this time in the 4th film, we've already stretched the truth on what the Warrens are so much that this whole thing could have been fictionalized. Essentially, all of the Nun movies are fictionalized. All of the Annabelle movies are fictionalized, besides the first one, which is highly fictionalized, but still grounded in a true story. But why not just go full made up on this last one and have Valak come back and possess the demon room like everybody wants to see? They tease it and Annabelle comes home, but it never really comes to fruition. We all want to see that room get fucked with. And imagine if Valak got in there and started doing crazy stuff, and they could have tied it into the whole cult thing easily from the 3rd one to bring that into it. Like, I don't know. I'm not a screenwriter. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons. You're probably listening to this like, that sounds stupid, but I think that would have been a way better film.
I think
for a finale.
You know, like I said, the only reason I said it was the right choice for them not to do it is because they take this based on a true story route, and they have already decided this is the haunting of the Smurl family. Even though it's fucking not. Like, they're barely in it. That haunting's barely in it. it's all about the Warrens and this fictional story you've made up. So, like, yeah, just pull the plug, go full in, just be fiction, and then you can do what you want and do the big bad finale, and it
Yes.
won't seem as ridiculous as it does when you're claiming that it's a true story. That is half of their downfall, is that you're saying it's based on a true story. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Because it sure as fuck don't seem like it. Like, the hauntings of the houses, I can believe. Some of this weird stuff, I can't. If they would have just come out and said, this is fiction, we're not even doing this Merle story, then yeah, I think that would have been an awesome finale.
Yeah, whatever they ended up doing, like, I don't know why they were so hell-bent on these being real cases. I get it from a marketing standpoint, but even the marketing for this film didn't really rely on that too much. I know they all teased like this was the case that made the Warrens stop, but it didn't need to be a real case. You still could have used all of that advertising for a fictional case. I don't know. That's, I think, is my biggest flaw with this movie, is that, like, I'm going through my notes of stuff I want to say, and I'm like, honestly, it's all the same thing when I boil down these notes, where it's just, this didn't need to be this way. Why aren't they focusing on the Smurls as much?
Yeah, we don't even know the Smurls' names half. Like,
I don't care to know.
Yeah,
No,
I'm like, they say them a few times. I'm sure if we paid really close attention, we would catch it. But it's like, in all the other haunting movies, we got to know these families.
Yeah.
In this one, I'm like, who even are the Smurls? It's like you said in the last one. You're like, who even is Arnie? Like, you're focusing so much on the Warrens and these little side quests and shit now that it's like, who even are these haunted people? Like, I don't even know who those families are. I don't know which is which girl has the haunting and which family member doesn't believe her. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, it was too much to keep track of.
And it doesn't help that the Smurl household is chaotic as fuck. There's like 8 or 9 people living there.
Yeah.
And like we said before, the haunting they're experiencing is like the most physical and violent. So it's like every time they do show the Smurl's story, it's kind of hard to keep up with what's even happening because everybody's talking over each other like you do in a household of 8 with kids and it happens. So that's realistic, but it's also like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I really wish they would have just taken the Smurls out and create, like, if you want to focus on the Warrens, I'm okay with that. You don't need another family. Like, just have the Warrens be the ones being haunted. Why do you have to keep including these when you're not going to use them? Like, it just, I don't know. I think that's my biggest flaw with this movie, is they just didn't commit, it seems like.
Sort of early on in the movie, the Warrens are at dinner, Lorraine, Ed, and Judy, and the waitress comes over and she's taking their order. And she starts with Ed, and while he's giving his order, both Judy and Lorraine start having little clairvoyant freak out episodes at the table. And they both kind of brush it off. It's like, oh no, I'm sorry, it's fine. I thought I saw something, but it's all good. And oh, don't worry about her. She'll take the lasagna. It's fine. And I'm like, dude, imagine being that waitress. Like, what do you think she's thinking right now? She's like, this man's ordering a steak and his wife and daughter are like on drugs or something. Like, what the hell?
I mean, I think I've seen weirder in customer service. Just a little shriek and then, oh, sorry, I thought I saw something.
Yeah,
That
while the daughter closes her eyes, shakes back and forth, and mutters a nursery rhyme to herself, crying. Like, it's like, are you guys okay? So I thought that was
I
just
would talk about it if I was a waiter. Like,
yeah, oh, that'd be me. I'd go to the back and I'd be like, hey, manager, maybe keep an eye on this table for me. Like, should we call the cops? Do you think this man, like, poisoned these women? Is that even his wife and daughter? Like, I'd be concerned. I'd be like, let's make sure they get home safe. Like, I don't know. And at the very least, the other waiters would all be talking shit. It'd be like, dude, what are those people doing?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So that was kind of a funny moment. I was like, this is supposed to be like, this serious moment for their visions and stuff. But I'm just thinking of being the waitress and like, what the fuck is happening? Another note I had is Ed's sass is always at level 100. we know this from every Conjuring movie. Ed is always sassy and has no shits to give. Like, he is done with everybody all the time. But one of the lines I wrote down in this one is one of the, I don't know if it's a priest or just somebody from the church that is talking to them at one point. He goes to Ed and says, you know, you two are kind of infamous with certain church circles. And Ed just deadpans and is like, yeah, we're aware.
Yeah. Yeah. That was at Father Gordon's funeral with the other father.
Yeah. They have made that clear. Thank you very much. Like, and then once again, Lorraine never listens to Ed when he tells her not to do things.
Nope.
Another movie of Lorraine and Ed just screaming each other's names. Also, this whole climax scene is essentially Lorraine yelling at Ed like everything is his fault. Judy is hanging herself while possessed, and Lorraine is screaming at Ed like, Ed, get her down. Ed, get her down. Like, he's trying. Meanwhile, you're standing there shrieking and doing nothing else to help the situation. But by all means, yell at Ed. And then like 10 minutes later, they're starting to get attacked by this mirror, and it starts spinning around, and she goes, Ed, stop it. Ed, stop it. And I'm like, the way she's saying it is literally as if he's the one doing it. Like, he is making the mirror spin around. Like, he's not doing anything like you aren't. Like, what? And, you know, he, of course, being Ed, he's like, of course, Lorraine, I will save the day. And he saves the daughter, and he picks up the Bible and starts to exorcise the mirror. But, like, I'm like, dude, Lorraine, this whole climax, you're just screaming at your husband like everything is his fault. He is doing his damn best. He's had like 3 heart attacks. Give the man a break. Like, maybe you should step in and help a little bit instead of just standing there screaming. And I think all my other notes I basically went over already, but yeah, overall, we were talking a lot of shit on this movie while watching it.
Yeah.
It was like, this series has really gotten worse.
Yes, it is. Overall, this one was stronger than the third installment in my viewpoint, but was held back by way too many storylines, a lack of focus on the actual Smurl haunting, and a clearly rushed race to the finish line for ending the Warren legacy of the film series.
Yep, and yep.
The end is nice and all, but again, it just doesn't feel earned as a finale. And they should have just focused on the Warrens and made this movie entirely fictional. The need to rely on the true aspect, I think, really hurts this movie a lot.
Yeah, and then another thing is that in the marketing for this movie, they also very much teased that this is the scariest one yet. This is the scariest movie in the whole Conjuring universe to date. I thought this one was the least scary of all.
100%, yeah.
I did not think this one had a scary
This one's a lot
moment.
more intense horror than it is like the traditional Conjuring of like psychological slow build horror. This one's a lot of big events happening, big action happening in moments that are meant to just kind of build your adrenaline, but there's no...
They don't even have a lot of traditional jump scares.
No. That's why I mean it's meant to build like adrenaline. Like a lot of when the one daughter gets hurt, when the other daughter starts coughing up blood, when Judy is like trying to hang her, like there's not really a lot of... It's a lot more, I feel like, almost body horror this time around than it is like jump scares or paranormal horror.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It just...
Because there's even the one scene of the one wife who gets her head like smashed in by the axe. We haven't seen anything like that in a Conjuring movie, even from a ghost. Like, yeah, there wasn't that much like crazy spray or gore, but it filled with blood. Like, we've never really... I don't know. I feel like it was a lot more body horror and shock horror this time around.
Yeah. A lot less of the traditional haunting and paranormal jump scare type of horror.
So, I mean, I guess it's personal preference.
Yeah.
What scares you most? This one didn't hit it for us, but if that stuff is what gets you the most, then it might work for you. I'm sure some people thought that throwing up glass scene was probably...
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some scenes in this that are like, okay, I could see how this would be very uncomfortable for some people to watch.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like uncomfortable and squeamish doesn't always equal scared. Sometimes they're synonyms.
No, but I agree with that.
Yeah, this movie really didn't do it for me.
No, my overall rating for this one is a 5 out of 10. I think this is Honestly, I only give this a 5 out of 10 if you've seen every other Conjuring up until this point. If this was your first Conjuring movie, this is probably like a 3 out of 10. Because no one is developed enough in this movie alone to give you a satisfying payoff at the end of it.
Oh, like you said, there's too many storylines and there's too much flashbacks and rewriting of their history. Like, it's just, they did not focus enough.
No.
They were all over the place.
But because it is the fourth one in the entry and you are supposed to watch the first 3 before this one, it's a 5 out of 10 for what it is to me. It's a straight across the board.
This one was my least favorite of the universe so far. I think I give this one a 4 out of 10.
Okay. So
because it even in Devil Made Me Do It, there was so many silver linings I could find or forgivenesses that I could give it. This one, I'm like, God, the only really redeeming thing it has is that it's tied back into the other ones a little bit more than the third one was.
I just like that it was like a return to roots to me. Like,
yeah, it's
I know I just spent this whole thing going on about how like, oh, get rid of the swirls because that's stupid, but at the same time, the reason I like this more than Devil Made Me Do It is it was either commit or get off the horse for me. And they didn't commit, so get out of here. They didn't commit to this whole different storyline of building this cult and taking away from the traditional house haunting.
Yeah.
They went right back to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, at least they went back to at
least there's a house haunting again.
Yeah, they went
like,
back to basics. So that's where it really gets the extra point from me.
I did like that we got a house haunting again, and it was interesting to me how violent this house haunting was. And I did what I said in the last episode with Devil Made Me Do It, how this whole movie in concept ties back to the one line that's said to Lorraine, where it's like, we must be cautious of how our obsessions and our lifestyles impact our children and their futures. Because this whole family is like the center of the movie, is like their family bonds and this hereditary clairvoyancy, and it's very much getting that message across still. So I think that helped the movie because I had that line to call back to. But yeah, like overall, I thought this movie was more boring than the others, and also it was like there's too much going on and too many characters that I can't care about any of them because you don't give me enough time with any of them.
Yeah.
You only let me care about Judy. And honestly, I don't love Judy.
Well, Judy there's no character
but
there.
She's
just a person.
She doesn't have much of a character.
I don't know anything about
Judy.
Judy. Is she paranoid? Is she anxious? Does she love? What does she love? What does she like to do?
All we know is that she loves Tony and she's afraid of her clairvoyant gifts. And anytime they start to pop up, she basically goes into full panic attack mode with her nursery rhyme.
Like, we know nothing about this character.
That's all we know about her, is that she's afraid of her gifts and screams for her mom and does the nursery rhyme every time they pop up, even though supposedly she's old enough to be getting married. So it's like, you should probably be able to like not need your mom this fucking frequently, especially just to calm you down. Like, I'm not saying you don't need your mom as an adult, but like, you should be able to get through a day without having several panic attacks in which you need your mom by your side to calm you down. Like, maybe not ready to get married, honey. Maybe your dad was right and you need to stay home a little bit longer. So I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about you. To me, you're the girl who's crying every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
So then by the end, I'm like, I'm kind of annoyed. Like, I don't actually, I'm supposed to be sympathizing with this character. And instead, I'm like, oh, good, she's possessed. Finally, something different. That's not what you want.
So altogether, then, I think we're going to give it about a 4.5. A little bit of a middle ground for our scores.
Yes.
So there we go.
Just barely below average.
Yeah, just a little bit below average for the last entry in The Conjuring and the last entry for this portion of Movie Date. Because after this, in 2 weeks from this episode, Season 2 will drop. with our first episode, which you'll only know about in this one because I'll tell you what it's going to be, all about the lore of ghosts. So get ready for that. Super excited. Cannot wait. That's pretty much everything there. And that's also, thank you guys so much for joining us for this movie date. And again, we can't wait to see you guys in season 2.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed today's episode, all of our thoughts and commentaries, and let us know your thoughts as well. What did you think of Conjuring Last Rites? Do you agree or disagree with anything we said? What rating would you give it? Give us a comment or send us an email or voice message on our website and let us know.
Yes, and be sure to share this podcast with your friends or even your enemies. We're not going to judge, and every little bit helps us out so much. We always appreciate it, but be sure to give us a like, a follow, or subscribe, however you're listening to us. Just make sure you get some way notified of whenever our new episodes come out, because you don't want to miss what we're covering in season 2. It's going to be very fun. We have a lot of stuff that we're thinking about doing outside of just the studio. Just stay tuned, because a lot of fun stuff is coming.
Yes, and you can also get updates and little sneak peeks of what's to come on our website, mysterydatepodcast.com, our shop, mysteryandco.com, or any of our social medias at Mystery Date Podcast everywhere. And yeah, stick around, stay tuned for what we've got coming.
Let's also have a great rest of your day or night, and be safe.
And remember, every good movie deserves a date.
Just maybe not a second one.